child predators leads to 2 arrests in Wisconsin.
Operation Restore Justice leads to the rescue of 115 children across the U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi lauding the effort Wednesday.
This historic, unprecedented nationwide operation led to the arrest of 205 child sex predators.
Of those arrests, Troy Shaden and Victor Vega Rojo were apprehended in Wisconsin. Court records show Vega Rojo was in the country illegally. He's now in custody of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
More Milwaukee Public School families get their children tested for lead.
300 spots were reserved for Milwaukee Public Schools students Wednesday. Milwaukee Health Department Commissioner Dr. Michael Totorais says only a small number of the MPS student population has been tested so far for high lead levels.
Yeah, just shy of 400 students have been screened so far.
As more data becomes available, Dr. Totorais says that the City Health Department will continue providing up-to-date information for concerned parents.
Our department has made a lot of the documents available so parents can see that, as well as anyone that's interested, and we're grateful to all the attention that we're getting.
Sean Brenda, WTMJ News.
At the same time, protesters gathered outside Milwaukee's North Division High School over the lead crisis. Earl Ingram and Lead Safe Schools MKE called for more action and funding from the state.
If they're so concerned about the safety of our children, then they should place a head of law enforcement being in the buildings, making sure that these children are safe. When we know that children are going into buildings every day being poisoned.
Demonstrators presented a list of demands to MPS, calling for the district to test all schools and the school board to pass a lead safety resolution. The world continues to wait for the announcement of a new pope. Marquette University Professor Emeritus Father Stephen Avella tells Wisconsin Afternoon News why this selection is culturally important.
The richness of Catholic tradition and the enthusiasm of the people around you for this man dressed in white and what he represents and who he is and what he says and how he lives his life can be life-defining.
The 133 voting Cardinals are working on their 4th vote in the Sistine Chapel. And the fighting hasn't stopped in Ukraine, even though Russia said it wanted to enact a 72-hour ceasefire. President Vladimir Putin announced the ceasefire to coincide with Russia's celebration of the end of World War II. More from ABC's Ian Pennell.
It proposed it really to suit its own purposes because it's got this huge parade that's taking place. President Xi Jinping of China, amongst other world leaders, will be attending. And, of course, the last thing they want is air raid sirens going off and Ukrainian drone strikes at the same time. So they had suggested this. But for the Ukrainians and indeed for the United States, it just didn't go far enough.
Ukraine had proposed a 30-day ceasefire. Time for news about your money. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green this morning. The Dow is up 102 points to 41,216. Your S&P 500 is up 9 points to 5,640. And your NASDAQ is up 52 points to 17,790. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:04.
Jake suffered with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Tingling numbness in my hands and fingers, not sleeping well at night, tossing and turning, trying to manage with pain pills and stretching, and it just wasn't helping.
He didn't want the traditional invasive carpal tunnel surgery.
I had seen people with the bandages and scars and clubs for hands. I just don't have time to be incapable of doing things for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks.
Then he learned about the Ovation Hand Institute and the Ovation Technique, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office.
I wanted to get it looked at sooner than later. So I had the virtual consult. It was very thorough as far as like I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was booked for the procedure 2 weeks later, had my right hand done. Very quick procedure. It was really great. That very night when I went home, it was the first time in probably 3 months my hand did not wake me up.
Book an appointment with the Ovation Hand Institute and find out if you're a candidate for the Ovation Technique.
Probably the most surprising thing was how quickly I was able to do things again. I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing yard work and all that kind of stuff the next day.
Visit ovationhand.com. ovationhand.com.
Fleet Farm's Garden Center has discounts on hundreds of plants, flowers, vegetables, fertilizers, and more. Like Farm Fresh Selects 10-inch hanging baskets for $17.99. And large bags of Miracle-Gro all-purpose garden soil for just $7.99. Plus, get a 21-inch full-bore 3-in-1 push mower on sale for only $259.99. When it comes to the great outdoors, let Fleet Farm handle all your patio, lawn, and garden needs at the best prices guaranteed. The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. You can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. No Brewers baseball today following Wednesday's 9-1 loss to Houston. The Crew are back at it tomorrow in Tampa against the Rays. Catch the game right here on WTMJ. And the Milwaukee Admirals stay alive in the AHL playoffs with a 6-2 win over the Rockford Ice Hogs. Game 4 of the best-of-5 series is Friday night in Rockford. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic, just one incident to report. The Ram from 94 North to 894 West. Their right shoulder's blocked with a disabled vehicle. Now it's a disabled semi. It is off on the shoulder and traffic is moving through there smoothly. Stay safe out there, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, lots of sunshine and breezy at times, a high of 60. Tonight, it gets chilly and clear with frost possible inland, a low of 33. For your Friday, sunny skies, a high of 68. Saturday, again, mostly sunny with an isolated shower possible, a high of 73. And for Sunday, your Mother's Day, sunny and mild with a high of 76. Monday brings us more sun and a high of 78. Right now in Madison, it's 52. In Waukesha, it's 53. In Green Bay, it's 51. In Milwaukee, it's sunny and 46 degrees. I'm Tiff Bua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:07.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As you like to call it, the day after Hump Day. I like to call it Thursday.
We're going to make every day some sort of version on that theme. Because why not?
Why not? Do what we want. Guess what today is?
It's Hike Day or what?
No, I actually looked that up.
It's not?
Hike Day is not actually a thing. I guess National Tall Person's Day is in December. But
right, so what were you going with there? Sent me a thing that said Hike Day. I'm going to look, what does that mean?
Well, then I looked it up. I verified it. That's because that's what we do
yes, we learned
as
yesterday.
Broadcast professionals. We verify before we just spout BS.
Yeah, we got burned on that yesterday by a texter.
But it is Free Trade Day.
Interesting, because there's breaking news, right?
There is, yes. And so this is Free Trade Day is observed on May 8th every year. And we're, maybe we will have to retire that day, though, because as we strike deals.
Yeah, trade's not free, by the way.
Trade is not free. All right, but breaking news.
Yes, the president.
UK deal. Go ahead.
President of the United States meeting with a representative of the UK. And they at least what I'm seeing, although final details have not emerged. So let me give you the clean take, and then we can kind of take it where we want. This is the president saving face because he's been
That's not the clean take. That's already your opinion.
My dirty take. This is the president saving face because he's sort of been accused of not getting anything done on all these tariff deals that he's been talking about endlessly ad nauseum. Dozens of deals. Well, this is some way to do a dog and pony show with the folks standing behind him in the Oval Office, which, by the way, as an aside, that Oval Office is probably tricked out more than any Oval Office I've ever seen in my life. He's got more tchotchkes now, and now banners are in there. Of course, you got
a lot of things, a lot of portraits on the wall. There's a lot of hanging
you think he's got
now.
Hillary's picture in there?
No,
not Hillary Clinton. No. What about Joe Biden? Is he up last president?
No, definitely not.
No.
I actually haven't looked and see because I have seen the before and after picture as far as how much more art is hung on the walls. I've yet to zoom in to see what the art
Declaration
is.
of Independence.
Well, I knew that.
Yeah, which he doesn't apparently know what it is. But anyway, I don't want to bash the president because we've done enough of that. Anyway, so I guess my take on this is more of a cleaner take. Yes, we should be working with our very strong ally to have a better relationship when it comes to trade. You asked a great question before we turned on the mics. Like, what are we trading back and forth? I said the easy one's tea because that's got a long history, right?
Definitely a long history. I looked up some different kinds of machinery. I think we might send them some more agricultural
in UK,
products because obviously the UK, not a very big piece of land.
No.
So, but yeah, I didn't, compared to our conversation yesterday when Prime Minister Carney was in the Oval Office, as far as him making the fact that, or making the not argument, I guess, stating the fact that Canada is actually the number one client of United States. I was trying to get a little bit more information before we got on air as far as what we already trade back and forth with the UK. But, everyone seems happy. The Prime Minister Starmer he said it's a historic deal.
Yeah. So let's give the president credit. The fact that we are sort of making our relationship with the UK stronger and better, I will give the president credit for that because that's an important ally. I was born in England. So I have that relationship, just me, but I think all of us who know the history, right? Formerly, that was our overseers, our overlords, right? And we had the famous Tea Party and the Revolution and all that stuff. We changed that. But here's the cool part. They're still an ally. Fought with them against the Germans and other axis of evil powers in World War II and World War I. And we have forged a relationship that matters in the world. I am happy that they're figuring it out. What scares me, what concerns me is when I see the banner on one of the news monitors, final details still to be worked up. So you're just saying we're sort of working on things just to get out front on this?
Well, stock markets rose. At least after the announcement on Truth Social last night, saying that this announcement was happening today, the stock market did rise in initial trading after the announcement, so that is a good thing.
You know why that makes me happy? Besides the fact that
you have a 401k?
Yeah. No.
And you're close to retirement?
Yes. That is so funny, isn't it?
No, I'm just saying it's a very obvious, a very obvious answer there.
Yes. And the fact that it sort of shuts the pie hole of some of these doom and gloomer peoples on the market. Oh, we're going to have a recession / depression.
Oh, I think there's
idiots.
I don't consider myself a doom and gloomer, but I don't think the pain is over.
The good news is we're at 41,000.
I think there's just a correction that needs to happen as far as the over-evaluation of a lot of different stocks.
Sure.
I think the fact that all this different AI stuff, we've talked about it before, as far as it just, the crypto thing to me is just a sign that there is too much random money being wasted on random things that aren't real.
I have invested $0 in crypto. Zero.
Not even Bitcoin?
Nothing.
Would you?
I don't know. I've asked my friend Dave Spano this question a million times, and I think Dave takes the right tone. It's still a cautionary tale. You have to think about things.
I mean, the Wisconsin pension is invested in Bitcoin.
Yeah, to some small degree, yes.
To a small degree.
Also, one of the best performing pension systems in the country, by the way. They do a great job. I've done webinars on that great program for all those state workers. They do fantastic for those people.
I think that's the thing. There's the reality of the crypto thing is there is a difference between something like Bitcoin and Fartcoin.
Yeah.
Which is a real thing.
Yeah.
Which is a real. My husband sold that. He made $300 on Fartcoin, which is a real story.
How about that?
And just these stupid meme coins that are just getting pump and dumps. It's insane to me. That is why I'm there's no way that this can last.
As somebody who's my age, I just don't feel like that's going to be something I'm going to do.
You're going to invest in Fartcoin?
No. Real quick though, I noticed on our sort of your rundown, you mentioned, and this is something we have to pay attention to. Elon Musk sort of get his name popping up into some of this stuff. Not a fan, as you know. I don't want to hear.
Oh, with the trade stuff?
Yeah, I don't.
The Starlink?
I don't want to hear his name. No, I've heard enough about Elon Musk.
Could he do anything to redeem himself to you?
Yeah, actually, show me how he's improved something. It's one thing to go in and whack stuff willy nilly, just cutting jobs. It's like the lazy CEO. You just cut people not based on performance.
Chainsaw.
Yeah,
Said the scalpel.
Perfect analogy. I think this is something that we should be concerned about. Now, if he shows me, let's just say, if you show me with Social Security, because we know that's a lot of what he's talking about, right? The Doge Group and the tech bros that work for him. Show me where the fraud is. Excise the fraud. Then I will believe in you. But right now, it's a lot of talk, less on the performance numbers side of the equation. Show me the real savings. Because every time I talk about Elon Musk in a negative way, I get a million texts, obviously exaggerating. Oh, what's your problem? Do you want to have an inefficient government? No, I want a very efficient government. I'm a small government guy. But you got to show me something. Real numbers, not putting up a website that says we saved $100 billion. Okay, where were those savings? What are you actually impacting? And oh, by the way, and you've raised this point many times before, in the states across this great country of ours, if you're just shifting it to the states' burden, you're not really saving us anything, because then states, legislatures, and governors will have to do what you didn't do.
Well, which is a good point, because as of this week, as of today, we know that the Joint Finance Committee is voting at
today.
1 p.m. today and they have already announced that they're cutting about 600 different proposals from Governor Evers' budget. But what's interesting, and we're going to talk about this more in the second half hour, they're not scrapping the entire thing.
Which is unique.
Because they usually just throw the whole thing out and start over.
Which signals, at least if you read the Journal Sentinel reporting and other publications, a softening?
Yeah, so we're going to get into a little bit more about that after the bottom of the hour news. But for now, let's take a break. Are we going to stay on this, or do we talk about
no, let's talk
the
about
Democratic senator
from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman. Let's do that next.
All right.
When we're out in your town, come say hi as we broadcast live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be.
You can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi from Wisconsin's radio station with a special announcement. My dream of visiting my 50th state, Hawaii. It's going to happen November of 2026. Remember that month. It's a big month around here. I'm inviting WTMJ fans to join me. Fox World Travel has created an incredible 3-island itinerary. We're going to Oahu, Big Island, Hawaii, Maui. Yes, Maui. Have to visit Pearl Harbor. I always do those kinds of excursions on my trips. Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, a Kona coffee plantation. We'll, of course, enjoy a luau on the Big Island. We'll visit the Maui Aquatic Center. It's an active itinerary, but here's the cool part. Rose and her team at Fox have built in free days. Absolutely free. You can do whatever you want. Hang by the pool, go on a different excursion that you have chosen. So there's both flexibility and fun built in. My wife, Kathy, and I would love to have you join us on this WTMJ listener trip. And a lot of people signing up. Do not wait. This will sell out. And I'm going to do something unique on the trip. I'm going to get my first tattoo. So you can join me if you'd like getting a tattoo. Whatever you want to get, I'll get mine. We'll do it together. 866-GO-FOX-GO is where you sign up. 866-GO-FOX-GO. Or go to my show page at WTMJ.com. Don't miss out on the early booking discount. I'll talk lots more about it. But it's Best of Hawaii with Steve Scaffidi. Call today.
We didn't write the headline, the Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
So you've been public about your struggles with depression, and you had a prescription regimen of drugs to take in the aftermath of your time. Have you been keeping up with that, taking your medication?
I want to. My doctors are like, John is great, and I am on all of the plan that it's always been, and it's incredibly invasive. And why are people talking about anyone's personal medical things? It's that, I think most people would agree that's really, really invasive.
That's John Fetterman, senator from Pennsylvania. My friend Manu Raju, who I've had on my podcast, and I know his family very well, was the interviewer.
You know his family really well?
Yeah,
How?
Sharat Raju is a filmmaker, director, and he's married to my friend Valerie Kaur.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's my connection to Manu Raju. He's been on my podcast twice, I think. And
you think we can get him on the show?
Absolutely.
Regularly?
He's been on, I don't know about regularly. He's a CNN guy, big
He's
time.
coming to Wisconsin soon. I think WisPolitics is having him for a luncheon, I saw.
He's a proud UW grad. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
that
makes more sense.
All right, so John Fetterman, it's a great, great case study, and you and I have been talking a lot about fit to serve, ?
Yes. Well, there's a lot of layers to this story, as we're seeing that there's more and more reports, including from New York Magazine, that there is erratic behavior and kind of emotional, lashing out that's happening from John Fetterman. And there's stories about his wife being incredibly concerned, his staff being incredibly concerned. He's kind of dismissing all of this, including the New York Magazine piece as a hit piece full of anonymous sources. But it brings up a better question. It's been very public, right? Obviously, we know his medical history of having a stroke in the lead up to his election in 2022. And then after being elected, there's very transparent around his mental health, like checking himself into a mental health clinic and working on that. And I think in some ways it was applauded when that first happened. And yet there is also still this question of when it comes to our representatives, is that the right place to be having the conversations around accommodations for mental health challenges and what you can or cannot bring to the job?
That's a tough one, right? Because he mentioned in the piece that we played from CNN that
it's personal.
It's sort of your medical history stuff. But you hit on the right point. The really clarion point there is this is a person that is elected, obviously not here, but in Pennsylvania, to serve your constituents. Can you serve your constituents when you're dealing with what he's admitted to, treatment for clinical depression? And some of his behavior is described as erratic in the Atlantic piece, and aggressive.
New York Magazine.
So I think you have to be careful with that stuff.
Well, and it's also, if you take it to a different angle, because this is also another Democratic senator, was Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah.
And the just life support that some Democratic leadership was keeping her on while she was still serving instead of having her step down. And there was a lot of different theories there because it was the whole Adam Schiff, Barbara Boxer, Katie Porter, because there was people vying for that seat, and the backdoor politics that were happening because Gavin Newsom had said that if she were to step down and he were going to appoint her replacement, he was going to appoint a black woman, which would not have been Adam Schiff.
Right.
And so all of the things that happened there, but then as we're watching right now, Joe Biden has made some kind of triumphant return to the media cycle. It is on The View right now. I don't know why.
He's trying to rebrand his image.
I guess,
he took a big hit.
But it is a conversation around what is the appropriate amount of transparency when it comes to our public servants' health, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health, and what line are you walking as far as, yes, this is personal health information, but it is also, you work for us.
Yes, and I think a big part of this is, and this is a question that I've asked before on my previous shows, when these people get in these positions, senators, Congress people, they often they go from being like average middle-class folks, not always, but some, to super rich.
Has he made a lot of money?
That I don't know.
Because that was the story with Kirsten Sinema from Arizona.
Yeah.
That she went from having like a net worth of $32,000
to a millionaire.
So,
I mean, that's a question as well. So going to the age thing, and I guess one's mental health / physical conditioning, can you serve us effectively and efficiently if you're 90 years old or if you're suffering some severe mental health, depression issues? I think my answer is no, but it's really hard to get rid of a senator.
I was going to say,
No.
whose job is it besides voters when he's up for re-election to make that decision?
Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe only Congress can remove a member.
I would imagine that's right.
Other than
or just the
recall.
pressure from your party's leadership.
Right. Now, there's an interesting thing, and I see some of the texters are sort of chiming in on this. Is part of this some people saying he's bad now as a Democrat because he's playing in the arena with Donald Trump? He went to Mar-a-Lago. He said some nice things about. Is that part of the story too?
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's basically since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, and how many days that we've been watching the aftermath of that, he is incredibly pro-Israel.
Yeah, about as pro-Israel as you can get.
Yes, especially for yes. But he is also, I mean, he's to the extent that it's not even just pro-Israel in the conversations of, oh, they have a right to protect themselves. He has even gone to the point of like advocating for the extermination of Gaza, which is a whole other bag of worms.
Some of his comments are really extreme.
But also certain things he just has, like, he's rallied against wokeness. He's advocated against immigration. Like, there's a lot of more talking points that he has pivoted towards much more conservative ideology, considering he got elected as a progressive.
Mm-hmm.
And to, again, who knows if he's even going to run again. There's already lots of talk of him being primaried because there's a lot of people, like rank and file Democrats, who are incredibly disappointed. And so, yes, maybe this is like the people who are doing hit pieces, quote unquote, are people who are more angry about his political stances and his political pivots than his actual mental capabilities.
Real quick before the break, should he have been elected given all the questions about him, do you think? I mean, obviously they picked their own senators, but
I don't know. The alternative wasn't very good.
No. Is that Dr. Oz? Yeah. Which is
Who's now in charge of Medicare and Medicaid?
Yeah. How's that going?
We'll find out.
We will find out, especially those people who use those platforms. All right, lots more to get to. Point taken, PT, Kristin, Steve, 620 WTMJ.
What's up, Wisconsin? WTMJ's John Mercure here. I've got a great idea for your weekend. Hang out with us as we explore our state. We go all around the state, talk to all sorts of cool people, tell you the events that are coming up, how to get there, what to do. We check in all over the place. This week on Experience Wisconsin, it is Hayward Lakes and Road America. Man, Road America is gearing up. This is going to be a fantastic season. It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi for Advent snoring, tossing, and turning restless nights to sleep. I don't deal with those any longer, and neither should you. I was waking up a lot during the night, and this is probably a common theme in your sleep life. Tossing and turning, you wake yourself up, you're snoring, you wake your bed partner up. It's not a good way to live. It's not a good way to sleep, and you're not going to wake up rested and refreshed like all of us deserve to wake up every morning. I went to Advent. Before I ever was a spokesperson, I was a customer. And in a 30-minute visit, they answered all my questions. They put me at ease. They explained what they were thinking. And for me, now everyone's different. Obviously, they have different problems, different solutions. For me, it was sinuses and nasal passages. After a short procedure done in one of their great offices, I breathe better than ever, more oxygen getting to my brain, and that's important. My wife and I are sleeping through the whole night. That's really important. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
The following takes place in the Capitol Heating and Cooling Truck.
Step on the gas. We need to get to Miss Johnson's house fast.
Roger that, Captain.
We need to get her furnace repaired.
She couldn't believe we do same-day repairs.
Or that Capitol works 7 days a week.
And we'll have her heat back on today.
Same-day repairs?
7 days a week.
Same-day repairs?
7 days a week.
Because it's the right thing to do.
And if you need service right now, get a free heating or plumbing service call with any repair.
Old-fashioned service you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
Are you ready for more fun, more friendships, and more adventures? Then it's time to become a Girl Scout. At least talking to the younger girls in your life, not you.
I was saying yes to everything.
If you're a 65-year-old man, maybe this is not for you. But Girl Scouts of Wisconsin Southeast helps girls build courage, confidence, and character, all while making a difference in their communities. With our extended year membership, girls can join now and enjoy up to 5 extra months of fun. Visit www.gswise.org and join the adventure today.
You go, Girl
Guess
Scouts.
what I still have?
What do you, I saw it.
I still have my brownie sash.
I saw it yesterday.
And I'm going to take it for the Girl Scouts to promote Girl Scouts. I'm going to take a picture and put it on the social medias today. But yeah, my mom, I didn't save it this whole time. My mother saved it. And then now that they're moving, she was like, do you want this? And I said, sure.
Did that go along with that brown beanie thing? Because when we were cleaning our basement, we found a brown beanie. I think it's Kathy's.
Probably. I don't think I remember wearing the beanie. I do remember some pictures of me.
Generational differences.
A head taller than all the other girls in my class wearing that sash.
You're a bit of a string bean, yes.
But I still am.
We got to get to lots of breaking news. A lot of stuff happening this morning.
All right.
So we're going to have a conversation about our legislature.
Our budget.
And what's happening with our budget. Before that, we're going to have some local news updates with our own Tiff Pua. Before we get to any of that, here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump announcing that the U.S. and Britain are embarking on a trade deal that would lower the burden of the Trump tariffs. The plan includes lowering trade barriers and making it easier for those in the U.K. to buy American goods. The president in the Oval Office minutes ago.
The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved.
No other details this morning. Cardinals voting again as they try to decide on a successor to Pope Francis. Early today, black smoke was seen billowing from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, indicating the balloting would continue. Two-thirds majority of the Cardinals is needed before a consensus is declared and a new pope is named. A mistrial declared in the case of a Grand Rapids, Michigan police officer accused with second-degree murder of Patrick Lioya, a black man killed after a scuffle following a traffic stop in 2022. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:31. I'm Tiff Pua. A big shakeup hits Milwaukee Public Schools' central office. 181 staff positions have been eliminated by Superintendent Dr. Brenda Caselius. In a letter to colleagues, Dr. Caselius says that about 40 staff members will be offered classroom teaching jobs, while 140 can reapply for their positions. Employees who stay with the district will be guaranteed to keep their current salaries in their new jobs for at least 1 year. MBS expects to have around 80 vacant teaching positions by the start of the next school year. A woman from Milwaukee is charged with threatening employees at Waupun Correctional Institution. 32-year-old Trina Brown is accused of making hundreds of harassing calls, texts, and emails. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office says the threats can cause disruption to prison operations and that law enforcement presence was needed near victims' homes. Brown posted bond on Wednesday. She returns to court on June 11th. And another ICE arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. According to Chief Judge Carl Ashley, ICE agents arrested an immigrant at the courthouse complex on Wednesday morning. This is at least the fourth time that ICE has apprehended someone at the courthouse in just over a month. Most recently, Eduardo Flores Ruiz of Mexico was arrested after Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly helped him briefly evade arrest. Dugan has a hearing for federal obstruction charges 1 week from today. Here's your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything's still continuing in the green. Your Dow is up 388 points to 41,502. Your S&P 500 is up 49 points to 5,680. And your NASDAQ is up 213 points to 17,951. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still just that one incident to report off the ramp from 94 north to 894 west. The right shoulder's blocked with a disabled vehicle. It is still that same disabled semi. It's still not moving anywhere, but traffic is moving smoothly through that area. Stay safe, everyone. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Today, lots of sunshine and breezy at times with a high of 60. Tonight, clear and chilly with frost possible inland, a low of 33. For your Friday, sunny skies with a high of 68. And for your Saturday, mostly sunny with an isolated shower possible, a high of 73. For Sunday, Mother's Day, sunny and mild with a high of 76. And Monday, mostly sunny with a high of 78. Right now in Lake Geneva, it's 57. In Johnsonville, it's 51. And in Milwaukee, it's sunny and 47 degrees. I'm Tiff Pua. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 10:34.
Pain, tingling, burning in your hand and wrist, wakes you up at night, makes life difficult. Working with your hands is nearly impossible. If that sounds like you may suffer with carpal tunnel syndrome. The problem is Medicare pays for the old open surgery done in a hospital or surgery center. And it's no walk in the park. Big incision, 6-week recovery. I mean, imagine your hands being bandaged up, unable to use it for 6 weeks. So if you want to, you can have that old open surgery the government says to get, or you have another option. An ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office that can give you immediate relief in 15 minutes and you are back to your life in just 1 day. The Ovation Technique, only at Ovation Hand Institute. You've suffered long enough. You don't have to put the fix off anymore. Visit ovationhand.com and see the difference with your own eyes. ovationhand.com.
Lake Geneva is the Midwest's premier golf destination, featuring breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Treat yourself to an all-inclusive golf getaway with courses designed for all skill levels, luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a Lake Geneva group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. Their pros will help you plan a memorable golf experience. For info on courses and more, visit lakegeneva.com today. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for legendary golf.
We see you out there, building a life you love, knowing that when inspiration strikes, nothing should get in your way. At Blaine's, we're here to help with everything you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Like assorted 5-gallon Midwest can fuel cans, $16.99. Save up to $300 on select Cub Cadet lawn tractors. Plus, this Saturday from 9 to 2, don't miss special offers and test drive select zero turns and lawn tractors during our Ride and Drive event. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Well, welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. He is Steve Scaffidi. And some movements when it comes to Wisconsin's next biennial budget.
Hopefully not a bowel movement. When you talk about the legislature, you get a lot of that. Come on.
A lot of bowel movements?
You know what I'm talking about.
God.
Come on. A lot of, you know what happens in our Wisconsin state legislature, or maybe more accurately, doesn't happen.
Well, okay, fine. That was...
Come on, that was a powerhouse
30
seconds I just gave you.
Sure,
That was
okay.
powerhouse.
All right. Well, the Joint Finance Committee is meeting today. It's scheduled to meet at 1 p.m. today to basically vote on the list of budget removals. And so this is what's interesting to me, is that we have come accustomed to, since Governor Tony Evers has been governor, basically he gives his proposal, and then the Joint Finance Committee scraps the entire thing and starts over. What's interesting this time around is that there are 600 proposals that they have said that they are going to reject.
600, you say?
But so it's like, I don't know what's left. We'll find out, but they're not throwing out the entire thing.
So what's your read on that?
I don't know.
Cooperation?
But there's a lot in there. And granted, I'm not going to defend how much spending was in Governor Evers' original budget.
Nor
right?
should you.
Of saying that it is a sustainable option to spend, what was it, like $3 billion more than the previous budget had?
It was a wish list.
It's
basically.
a wish list, knowing that most likely the entire thing was going to be thrown out.
Which is a good strategy if you're trying to get something done.
Well, if you're also trying to indicate what your priorities are, right? Of like, these are the things as a party, as the governor, I care about that I would like to put resources into. And then it is also a decision from the Joint Finance Committee to say, nah, we don't care about those things, including helping Milwaukee when it comes to lead abatement and put a filtration system in so that our children don't get lead poisoning.
This is the one I'm most frustrated by, because both sides, and I do mean both sides, have messed around with this issue forever, because we've had Democratic legislatures in the past, not recently, also sort of skirted the issue. And then, of course, we had Republican-led legislature in the last 10 plus years who have just said, it's too much for Milwaukee. Bottom line is, this is
kids. What are we talking about?
It's not a Milwaukee problem. It's something you should fix. And, we had him on the show the other day, Josh Showman. He actually did something about fixing their lead laterals in their community. They actually had a program to help people. He's about as conservative as you're going to get, and he did something about
But
it.
this is a prime example to me when it comes to PFAS and lead, of like why we pay taxes, because there's no individual who is going to front the cash, or even company that's going to front the cash to fix this public health problem.
Right. There's the big stuff that we can't do by ourselves.
Yes. And so the fact is that it is more important for any of us to get somewhere between, $200 to $5,000 back in a tax cut versus make sure our kids don't have lead poisoning. Like, you're never going to be able to convince me that that's a better use of money.
No.
And probably even, and this is why I was interested to see your take on this, because I feel like this is probably an area where I am going to be more liberal than you as far as the things that we should put in our budget, that it is the responsibility of the government to fund. But I didn't know of the things that they're saying they're cutting, what you thought was a good idea versus things that you actually think they should have kept in.
I'm looking at a list. You said you shared a couple articles with me, Journal Sentinel, which I had already read, but the WPR piece about some of the things that are coming out for sure. One of them is the legalization of marijuana. And I'm on record as saying, look, we're surrounded by it. Every country, Canada, and every state already has it. We're losing revenue. We're losing tax dollars. I know that every time I see
it's also decriminalized in all of the biggest cities,
Yes.
so it's not like,
And frankly, public safety law enforcement is not going to waste their time on most of this stuff unless you're a high-ranked drug dealer. They're not going to spend time on people buying marijuana. They don't have the time or resources to do it. So that was a no-brainer, but that's coming out. This is an interesting one because I have a different take than, when you talk about child care subsidies or credits, look, I'm not going to say that I'm ironclad against it, but there are people that say, why are we paying for that? And I understand there's arguments made for workforce and all that stuff, but he being Tony Evers, had allocated in his budget $440 million in state funds for a child care subsidy. That's coming out, apparently, according to this legislature.
But play that scenario out. So what's of the child care policy solutions? Because at least this is an issue that at least everyone on both sides of the aisle admits is a problem. There's very different policy solutions. From the Republican side, it's been more about deregulation, which as a mom, I'm not super pumped about.
I was just going to say that.
As far as having, let's have lower quality control over the people who are taking care of our most vulnerable little children.
It's a whole licensing piece. I want strict licensing
piece. It's the fact of because this is the big thing. So for infants, the ratio needs to be 1 to 4, which makes sense. If you've ever tried to take care of one infant, let alone trying to take care of 4 infants at the same time, do you really want to move that to 6? I don't. And then as the kids get older, the ratios become a little bit bigger. I think it kind of maxes out at, for 4 to 5-year-olds, it's 1 to 8. So you need a certain amount of staff to be able to host this. So it's literally a math problem of having enough providers and teachers for how many kids need childcare. And the difference between how much it costs to run a childcare facility. At the same time, you're totally maxing out parents as far as it being for 2 kids. It's nearly somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000 a month.
Yeah, so it's interesting argument because at the same time we're talking about this, the president and his administration has proposed the baby bonus of whatever it is, $5,000. So
it covers 1 month of childcare for 2 kids.
Yeah, so what if you're already talking about a president who has said something positive about doing something for parents, how can you have a Republican or conservative position that doesn't agree with that? Because last time I checked, most conservatives in Wisconsin love Donald Trump, right? So how do those two things go together? I think when you look at this issue, there has to be, again, consensus. And this is so hard for us in Wisconsin because the two sides are almost always diametrically opposed. Not always, but almost always. This is an issue that we should be able to find common ground on because most of us are parents, right? We know the issues, right? Albeit my history is different than your history. I'm talking 30 years ago. You're doing it right now with a less than 2-year-old child. So we don't have necessarily the same storylines, but the problem is the same. We have probably make less money than you'll make later in your life. We'll
see. AI is coming for everyone's job.
Yeah, so that's another topic for a different day.
Different day.
But I think this has to be something that we come to terms with because it does, as I said.
Childcare.
Yes, it does impact workforce.
Yes.
And last time I checked, we need people to fill those jobs. And that's something you just can't ignore because you don't like to spend money on it. That's the reality that I think some conservatives have to come to. A lot of the other stuff.
Well, let's take a break. Let's come back and talk about some of the other things that they're talking about cutting and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. So stay with us on Point Taken.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I'm the football guy, definitely not the outdoor home projects guy. So when it comes to things like deck building, Excel Custom Decks is the true go-to expert. Family owned and operated, Excel Custom Decks uses the finest materials and products and combines that with superior craftsmanship. If you want your outdoor area to shine this summer, contact Excel Custom Decks now. Whatever you dream up for that perfect deck, pergola, or outdoor kitchen, Rob and his family can build it. Excel Custom Decks, decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com today.
We didn't write the headline, the Wall Street Journal did. The days of set and forget investing just ended for many Americans. Economic uncertainty and global unrest. It's a wake-up call. Standard financial advice is to avoid making rash decisions during market turmoil. But retirement planning isn't a set it and forget it process anymore. That's where Annex Wealth Management comes in. As fee-only fiduciaries, we craft personalized plans that adapt as needed. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Head to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button.
Imagine trying to take on one of the big car companies. It's not easy. Yet recently, one local law firm finalized the largest compensatory verdict in state history against an automaker, over $38 million. And it was no fluke. That same firm has been holding big car companies accountable for faulty designs that cause injury for over 50 years. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Hey, it's Mother's Day weekend. Where would you be without your mom? WTMJ's John Mercure here. Get your mother out of the kitchen and into the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford, the area's most affordable Mother's Day dining destination. The Mother's Day brunch is all you can eat. It's a feast, and it's under $25, far less than what you'll pay elsewhere. Kids and grandkids under 3, they eat for free. And they can safely play in the world-class game room quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up. The Mine Shaft is super family-friendly. The Wednesday and Friday fish fry is all you can eat, just $7.99. That's right, $7.99. Mom's going to love that. Your mother's Saturday steak or prime rib dinner is under $25. Restaurant inflation is everywhere, but not at the Mine Shaft in downtown Hartford and Oshkosh. The Wednesday and Friday all-you-can-eat fish fry is $7.99. Call and reserve your Mother's Day table, mineshaft.restaurant.com. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the amazing Mine Shaft. Check out the Mine Shaft today.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
You can't beat Berghardt.
Sports lovers love us.
It is Thursday here on the Point Taken Show. PT, as I like to call it, Kristin Brey, superstar Kristin Brey. Got another new piece come out in the Journal Sun, which we're going to talk about tomorrow.
For Mother's Day.
Leading into Mother's Day this
weekend.
weekend.
It also kind of touches on childcare.
Absolutely. So a great tie-in there. And thanks, as always. I always say this on at least once on the show. Thanks for taking the time to find us. We've gotten so many lovely emails and texts, and we appreciate that. Cause
it's like 4-1 of people who like it versus don't.
Yeah. So I'll take that ratio. That's
and
good.
I'm like the ones that don't, they either don't like you or they don't like me or they don't like both of us.
Yeah. Which, how can they not like us, really?
Did I tell you that I met one of my biggest critics?
You did tell me that, yeah.
And actually, this is a testament to meeting people in person, and the conversation in person is very different than through a screen.
Almost universally, that's the case. Because I used to always find the people that hated me as mayor, and I'd meet with them for coffee. Ended up shaking hands, just agreeing to disagree, but not hating each other.
Well, and I think that's the thing. It's like, I'm not asking you to stop criticizing the things that you don't like.
Yeah.
I'm just asking you to remember that I'm a person.
Yeah, who's the one that always emails? Jim, right? Is it Jim that always emails us on every topic?
But he's not really criticizing us. He
wants to design the show based on what he
would
likes.
like to have more input on what we
Jim,
talk
we
about
love that you listen, but it's not your show. Now, Jim, if you can find someone that finances a show that you'd like to do, then good luck to you, because you have a lot of good things to say. I will say that. I've actually taken some of his stuff on occasion. All right, some of the things that we're looking at with the legislature, they're looking at all these decisions. What do you think of this one?
Because I have complained about this a fair amount. And this actually doesn't fix the problem that I have. But we were talking about the budget. Today, the Joint Finance Committee is meeting to cut 600-some proposals from Tony Evers' budget and then start crafting their own. One of the items was creating, from Evers' budget, was creating a new 9.8% tax bracket for incomes over $1 million for a married couple, over $500,000 for a single filer. I would imagine this is not very many people in Wisconsin, some, but not affecting a whole bunch of people. And it still doesn't actually get at the heart of the matter of breaking up that massive tax bracket that's like $30,000 to $400,000, which I think is the bigger thing that would move the needle more as far as breaking up that tax bracket. But that is one of the things that they're cutting out.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting proposal. It's not going to survive. Obviously, they're going to whack that out right away. We've created this challenge now because we have this broad tax bracket that just covers everybody. I mean, the most people. And
that group is already above that tax bracket, right?
Yes.
That's always already the higher tax bracket.
Yeah, but they're not paying 9.8%.
They're not paying 9.8%.
I think, what is it, 6 or 7, I think, something like that, or 7.6. It's not that number. Look, it always sounds good, but on issues of taxation. So if I'm looking at just analytically looking at our tax situation in Wisconsin, what do I know is the reality? We've had a budget surplus for a long time. Billions of dollars.
What's your, if Polymarket had this as far as betting odds, do you think we'll still have a surplus after this budget?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess looking at that reality, what in that reality, other than paying for stuff that we don't already pay for, which is some of the things we're just talking about with childcare and the like, which doesn't have to consume all of the surplus, why would we take more from people other than just fun things that we're not paying for currently?
Well, the only tax increase in Evers' budget was this, right? This was the only line item that was asking to pay, for anyone to pay more,
right?
If I understand.
It's a millionaire tax.
Millionaire tax.
Basically.
And so I would imagine no one will end up paying more with whatever budget that gets finalized. The question is what programs get underfunded, and coupled with whatever the federal budget ends up being, who falls through the cracks.
Yeah, don't forget now, because of a clever gubernatorial veto, Evers has already built in an increase every year for per child going on with the next 100 years or whatever. 400 years. So that's already a tax increase. So that's built in. And the Republicans fought that, and they lost at the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So that's already built in, too. Other than that...
But that's not a tax increase as far as changing what people are paying out of there for state taxes.
No,
it's just a different allocation within the budget.
It's all part of the same puzzle. Where things we pay, right?
No, I know, but the way you phrased that made it sound like, oh, it's a tax increase as far as anyone's paying a higher percentage than they were the last time around.
Yeah, well, no one wants to pay taxes. Let's put it that way.
No, of course they don't want to pay taxes,
Right.
but that is the price that we pay for a civilized society.
For the things we talked about at the beginning of this segment, the collective goodwill, collective we, there are things that we have to pay for because the individuals can't afford to pay for, i.e. highway systems.
Yes.
I'm not building a highway. I could be a billionaire, still wouldn't have enough to build a half-a-mile stretch of highway. That's the collective we. Those are the things the state has to pay for. The big question is, how many of those things are there? We just talked about a couple in the last half hour. We got to take a break. Kristin, Steve, PT on 620 WTMJ.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Will Giannis say it's time for me to go? Because how do you make this an attractive situation for Giannis next season?
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
A California man is now banned from possessing firearms due to his connection to the shooting at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m.
4 months on the job and the new CEO of Kohl's is out.
Only on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. Loyalty, family, few things are more important. And Loyal Family Renovations, they saved the day for me and a lot of other people after a brutal storm in Oak Creek and southeast Milwaukee County. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it, but Jeff, Jake, and his whole team, they are absolute pros. Made the entire process as smooth as can be. Kathy talks about it all the time, how great they were to talk to and deal with. They were amazing. Always available for us if we had any question. They work with my insurance company and got me the most value, handled all the questions. Because let's be honest, we're not all great at talking to insurance adjusters. They did all that with us. Sitting around on my patio, we talked with the insurance company, all of us together. That's what you get. Quick answers, top-notch customer service. And all my work was done in 2 days. My roof, complete tear-off, an old roof, now brand new, clean. They even had one of those tools that picks up all the nails that maybe they missed on the grass. I was so impressed, I told my whole neighborhood. If storm damage hits you, and that can happen to anybody, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com today.
Hi, I'm Jim Token, president of Adam, the automobile dealers of Metro Milwaukee. I want to thank all the participating new car member dealers, and especially all of you who helped us recently present a check to Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin for over $72,000 just by having your oil changed at an Adam member dealer. The donation provided over 220,000 healthy meals to those in need. Thank you again for changing your oil and changing lives.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Here's to experiencing it all this summer in Wisconsin. Every deliciously cheesy, rockin', magical, fireworks-filled, festival-loving moment. There's Cheese Curd Fest in Ellsworth, Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg, Festival of the Arts in Stevens Point, and the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Honor the Earth Powwow in Hayward, Mile of Music in Appleton, Venetian Fest, Bratfest, Summerfest. So many fests for your whole crew. Find them all at travelwisconsin.com.
Ready for more fun, more friendships, and more adventures? Then it's time to become a Girl Scout. With their extended year membership, join for just $98, adults for $42, and enjoy up to 5 extra months of fun starting now. Visit girlscouts.org and join the adventure today.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, any last thoughts on what we know so far about the Joint Finance Committee today and what they're cutting, what they might be keeping?
They're going to cut a lot. That's a given. I do take some encouragement or some excitement about the fact that there seems to be some softening. Now, we'll see if that's just words and it actually actions result from that. But I expect, and this is something that I think is going to happen, I really believe this is going to happen, it's very slimmed down in the number of words, sentences, paragraphs.
Numerals
in this budget. It's going to be something we maybe have never seen before in Wisconsin, or not any in recent times. Slimmed down version of this budget.
Skinny budget. Just
budget.
like you. Skinny mini.
You're too nice.
Skinny mini Steve. All right. When we come back, we'll do a little Pope Watch, and Janine from Urban Milwaukee will be joining us for the 11 o'clock hour of Point Taken.
I've got a fantastic trip that I'm planning right now. I'd love for you to be with us. It's America's Music Cities for the holidays. It's early December. It's an 8-day tour of some great spots. New Orleans, Memphis, and Nashville. Check out New Orleans, the vibrant French Quarter, all decked out for the holidays. Then we're on to the amazing city of Memphis, Elvis Presley's Graceland. It is going to look absolutely fantastic. On to Nashville. We make chocolate, take a horse-drawn carriage ride, and we stay at the magical Opryland Resort. It's with Colette, the travel company I trust. We'll handle all the details for you, flights, meals, hotels, local experiences. I'm going to be there. I want you to be with us. Send me an email. I send you the information. John@WTMJ.com. John@WTMJ.com. Space is limited. We'll discover America's musical legacy wrapped in dazzling lights and seasonal decor. Let me get you the info. I'd love for you to be with us. John, John, @WTMJ.com. It's America's Music Cities with Colette, the travel company I trust.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Jake suffered with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Tingling, numbness in my hands and fingers, not sleeping well at night, tossing and turning, trying to manage with pain pills and stretching, and it just wasn't helping.
He didn't want the traditional invasive carpal tunnel surgery.
I had seen people with the bandages and scars and clubs for hands. I just don't have time to be incapable of doing things for 6 to 8 to 10 weeks.
Then he learned about the Ovation Hand Institute and the Ovation Technique, an ultra minimally invasive procedure done in the office.
I wanted to get it looked at sooner than later. So I had the virtual consult. It was very thorough as far as like I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was booked for the procedure 2 weeks later, had my right hand done. Very quick procedure. It was really great. That very night when I went home, it was the first time in probably 3 months my hand did not wake me up.
Book an appointment with the Ovation Hand Institute and find out if you're a candidate for the Ovation Technique.
Probably the most surprising thing was how quickly I was able to do things again. I'm cooking dinner, I'm doing yard work and all that kind of stuff the next day.
Visit ovationhand.com. ovationhand.com.
Built Right. One location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 11 o'clock, it's currently 54 degrees in Milwaukee. I'm Julia Fellow. Lots of sunshine. It is breezy right now. Be aware of debris going onto the roadways. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But from the WTMJ Breaking News Center, as the world continues to wait for the announcement of a new pope, 133 cardinals are currently in the fourth vote, expected in the Sistine Chapel. Marquette University Professor Emeritus Father Stephen Avella tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News why the selection is culturally important.
The richness of Catholic tradition and the enthusiasm of the people around you for this man dressed in white and what he represents and who he is and what he says and how he lives his life can be life-defining.
Happening right now, the United States and Britain announced a trade deal that will lower the burden of President Trump's sweeping tariffs. The Prime Minister speaking just moments ago.
This is a really fantastic, historic day in which we can announce this deal between our two great countries.
A deal would seem to be a political victory for UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who just spoke there. President Trump placed a 10% tax on imports from Britain and 25% tariffs on autos, steel, and aluminum. A big shakeup hits Milwaukee Public Schools Central Office. The new superintendent, Dr. Brenda Caselius, reassigning 40 central office staffers to classrooms. 181 staff positions have been eliminated by the superintendent. In a letter to colleagues, Dr. Caselius says about 40 staff members will be offered classroom teaching jobs, while the 140 can reapply for their positions. Another ICE arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. According to the chief Milwaukee judge of Milwaukee County, ICE agents arrested an immigrant at the courthouse complex yesterday morning. This is at least the fourth time that we know of that ICE has apprehended someone at the courthouse in just the past month. Most recently, Eduardo Flores Ruz of Mexico was arrested after Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly is accused of helping him briefly evade arrest. Dugan has a hearing for federal obstruction charges 1 week from today. Time for news about your money in your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green looking good after that announcement in the UK. The Dow is up more than 1.25%. Up 561, S&P 500 up more than 1%, up 73, NASDAQ up almost 2%, up 295. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, approaching 11:03.
Spring is in the air, the perfect time to kickstart those home improvement dreams. Hi, Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. They're your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient upgrades. Boost your curb appeal and add real value with top brands like Pella, Anderson, Marvin, and more. All customized to fit your home and your style. Wood, vinyl, or fiberglass, they've got it all. And their newly remodeled New Berlin showroom is the place to start. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Visit hometownwindows.com today.
Okay, adventurers, listen up. Fox World Travel just dropped some seriously incredible Fox Group vacation destinations for 2026. Set sail on a yacht through the Croatian coastline, join a thrilling African safari, or immerse yourself in the mecca of all flower shows in London. And for the first time, we're introducing a woman's-only tour, partnering with Insight Vacations, Globus, and African Travel. But these are just a few of the exclusive offerings. But don't wait. They're filling up fast. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to reserve your spot today.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. For more than 8 years, QC Kinetics has been the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain. You heard that right, non-surgical relief. More than 50,000 patients who had knee pain, back pain, now living pain-free. Those with shoulder and hip pain, it's gone. The regenerative cell therapy restores tissues in your achy joints. Dr. Caravelli's team uses biologic growth factors with robust healing properties carefully and strategically placed in your joint. And there's no surgery. Remember that. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing the old tissue. Here's what you do. You call today, 414-285-3474, 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers lost yesterday 9-1 to Houston, but they're back at it tomorrow in Tampa against the Rays. Catch the game right here on WTMJ. And the Milwaukee Admirals stay alive in the AHL playoffs with a 6-2 win over the Rockford Ice Hogs. Game 4 in the best-of-5 series is tomorrow night in Rockford. Let's take a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Okay, it is really windy out, and now big orange construction barrels are flying all over the place, like right on 43 northbound in the right lane, right at the North Avenue exit. Please be aware of that. And also, there's debris on the road on the ramp from 4194 north to 4143 894 west. The right shoulder is blocked at this time. There's also a disabled vehicle that just popped up there as well. Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Lots of sunshine. Again, breezy. Be aware of debris on the road, especially on the highways. Make sure that you're looking everywhere. High of 52 at the lake. High of 60 inland. Tomorrow, sunny skies. 60 at the lake, 68 inland. Saturday, mostly sunny. Isolated showers may be possible. 67 at the lake, 73 inland. For your Mother's Day, it'll be sunny. Really nice. 76 degrees inland, 67 at the lake. Mostly sunny Monday. 78 inland and 73 at the lake. Right now in Madison, it's 54 degrees. In Waukesha, it's 54 degrees. And in Green Bay, it is 52 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:06.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
All right, smoke from the Sistine Chapel could come at any moment.
What's your prediction?
Black.
Yeah, me too. It is going to be interesting who they pick, because having watched these movies, and certainly as a Catholic, and you and I did a podcast on it not too long ago.
Last week.
Yeah, so you need to listen. You can check it out wherever you get your podcast.
Or you can just text LISTEN to 855-616-1620. We'll send you the link.
And we had a really good one that we just recorded yesterday that we're going to be releasing next week.
About AI. AI friends.
Here's a quick audience question. All of you, however you consume us, whether it's live or later or on YouTube or however, live on the radio, whatever it is, should we, because I want to do this, and I asked you about this before, I think we should have at least one segment of show devoted to technology/AI. It's that big.
It is that big, but do people want to hear us talk about it every day?
Know.
Like,
well,
neither you nor I
too.
are experts in the
Well,
burgeoning edge of AI. And so are we going to be doing research? I mean, I get that it's a big topic, but I don't feel like people are coming to me to learn about it.
Let me give you my talk radio answer. People come not to hear you be an expert on it. They come here to hear your opinion on what you think that development, that story, that topic is doing and how it impacts us, me, you, and all of those people. That's what they come for.
I do think it's ripe for a conversation to... My brother sent this yesterday to our family thread that was kind of terrifying. Oh, wait. That's black, right?
I can't tell if it's black or... It looks white to me. Is it white smoke?
I don't...
We're watching a monitor.
We're watching CNN live coverage.
To me, that looks white.
It doesn't look black.
Oh,
and people are cheering.
So we have a.
It looks like white smoke. There you go. We're going. All right.
Let's see what the. Oh yeah, people are crying now. So this is big news.
That feels. Didn't you predict yesterday a week, and I predicted 5 days?
Yeah, because I thought there was just so many vying parties.
This feels fast, but I have no context to comparison.
We just started yesterday.
I know, that's what I mean. Is that I feel like.
Now it's the exciting part is who gets to be both. Because that's white, huh?
That is white. People are excited.
Yeah. So people are excited. So now the question:
there's a lot of people sitting there just waiting for the smoke.
It's jammed. I've been in that very spot when there has been no one there.
Yeah, let's take the audio. Let's take the audio
live
as far as what we know.
We are watching, and everyone to breathe it in. The white smoke here over the Sistine Chapel, here at the Vatican, and the crowd. You see some of the celebrations, the emotion. You can't not feel the emotion being here to see something like this.
Yeah.
I feel a little shaky, to be honest, to witness such a thing. And the joy of so many people. White smoke, as they will soon say, Christopher, Habemus Papum, we have a pope.
Yeah, incredible excitement. It was the crowd that really saw the white smoke first. And it was an electric atmosphere as the smoke came out, and it was clearly white as it billowed out from the Sistine Chapel chimney. A real sense of joy and excitement here, an amazing moment.
Joy and excitement, and as that smoke comes out, now that means there is a cardinal who is now a pope, who has accepted the mantle of St. Peter, Christopher,
That's right.
and will be going to the room of tears.
That's right. Well, he will be asked by the cardinals, do you accept? And he has to say yes or no, and then they ask him, what name will you take? And he has to say which name he will take. And then the cardinals all come up and make an oath of allegiance to the new pope. And then the pope will go into the room of tears, which is, it's called that because it's
We're switching our coverage now to ABC News on the news, big breaking news on WTMJ, that white smoke signaling a new pope elected. We'll take a few minutes of this as we march through Point Taken on this Thursday edition right here on 620 WTMJ. We're going to bring it back because we got
a lot of bells, but not a lot of action at this moment. But when the Dean of the Cardinals comes out, we will go back live to to announce who the new pope is.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take an early break, and then we'll be ready to take that coverage if it is coming out of the like the smoke's coming out, white smoke in Vatican City. We'll take all of that live right here on 620 WTMJ after this.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on May 20th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Baltimore Orioles.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh my goodness, third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in May 20th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. It's 2025. Set it and forget it? Nope. It can't be your way to go. Markets are jittery from tariff talk and global trade tensions. We talked about that this morning. Plus, volatility sparked by the Federal Reserve's cautious rate adjustments. Your retirement investment plan needs to stay sharp. That's where Annex Wealth Management steps up. They can help you pinpoint where you stand today and chart a clear path forward covering retirement investments, tax strategies, and estate planning. For millennials, Gen X, boomers, singles, couples, or those rebuilding after a loss, Annex tailors their solutions for you. Already retired? They'll review your existing plan with fresh eyes. DIY investor, I used to be one of those. They'll craft a refocused strategy. As a fee-only fiduciary, Annex prioritizes transparency and your best interest. No hidden fees, just clear guidance. Visit annexwealth.com, click on the now famous Get Started button. Join countless others, including me, visiting one of their 8 branches or hopping on via Zoom call. Know the difference. Start with annexwealthmanagement.com.
70 years ago, the Blaine brothers founded Blaine's Farm and Fleet as one of the nation's first retail stores to sell goods at a discount. And we've helped supply Midwest farms and families with quality products at unbeatable prices ever since. Like assorted Milwaukee hand tools, just $14.99. 25-ounce cans of ProZap insect spray, $21.99. Plus, we've lowered our prices throughout the store, so you can find the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
All right, Thursday here on Point Taken, Kristin Brey alongside Steve Scaffidi, and Jeremy Janine is in studio. We got lots to talk about, but obviously the breaking news. A new pope has been elected. We're still waiting to see who that might be, and there's a protocol that has to happen. I think it's the dean of the cardinals or something like that comes out and tells us who that new pope is. So when that happens, we're going to cover that live.
You're going to get bumped, Jerry.
You're going to get bumped. I was trying to be nice.
I hope you're okay
with
with.
We're in Milwaukee for now. We're in the Vatican and ASAP.
Which is the cool thing. This is happening across the globe, and yet we can go live and hear those words. Chris and I were watching during the break. You can still see the white smoke coming about, but the audience, the crowd, and I've been in Vatican City in St. Peter's Square. When I was there, it was like 5 people. Now there's thousands of people.
I know this is probably not the most appropriate comparison, but looking at how many people are in the Vatican City right now with their flags, it looks like you're watching the World Cup. Like when the World Cup, when they gather in some kind of public forum and they air it, that's how many people are there, and that's how much cheering there was.
Well, in some degree, it is a competition, right? Because there's the Filipino section, and then there's certainly other parts of the world that want to see the next pope come from their region or their geographical location. So pretty cool stuff.
It's quite the event. I could see when I was walking in that there was just all this excitement, and producer Jaslyn was like, "Things are happening." And I was like, "I don't know. People are excited. I'm here today." But yes, the new pope has been selected. We'll find out who.
Yeah. So just tell you, stay tuned because we're going to, as soon as we have that announcement, we're going to carry it live from ABC or one of our other partners. All right. So let's sort of take it back for a second because obviously we don't know anything other than the fact that white smoke's coming out. I spent a lot of time reading about this and listening to it. I talked to somebody who was at the meeting. This fight about this Moxie Hotel in Deer District, fascinating stuff.
The most important thing to understand, it's not a fight about that hotel. It's a fight about the first Deer District Hotel. So to set the stage, we have Fiserv Forum on the north side. In 2023, the 9-story Trade Hotel opened. It's a partnership between the Bucks and this group out of Madison, out of Middleton, called NCG Hospitality. NCG is now proposing a second hotel, a Moxie-branded hotel. Both are Marriott-flagged hotels on the south side. The issue is there was a botched, to lack a better description, union election for the Trade Hotel, hotly contested. There's a National Labor Relations Board investigation. The Common Council appears to be willing to not explicitly say that because that would be illegal, but to hold up the second hotel to try and influence the outcome of the first unionization effort.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and again, I'm not a fan of like vacant lots, right, or property just sitting undeveloped. This seems, I understand that there are sides in everything, right, and certainly union representation is something that we've seen in sort of an increase attention to, but ultimately that's a decision by the employer and employees. They sort that out, and now we're having this broader discussion about what this is, and God, there's even a thing about zoning I saw that's related to this story. It's like, come on now.
Yeah, the lever of power is that there is a zoning change required to enable this hotel. Anything in the Deer District, this 30-acre area around Fiserv Forum, requires a zoning change. But going back to 2015, there was this conceptual plan put in place that says a building between 4 and 20 stories should be built on this former Bradley Center site. Well, a 5-story hotel fits a building between 4 and 20 stories. It is a use that was envisioned. The argument that being led by Alderman Robert Bauman right now, who chairs the zoning committee, is that's not the, and I'm finger quoting here, the highest and best use, which is a legal standard the city appeared to think it could stand on. But then Bruce Block, an outside attorney for the Milwaukee Bucks, really threw a curveball when he said, actually, you guys kind of induced us to proceed with a hotel here. And this is where it gets complicated. When the concert venue, which would be, but it's under construction, FPC Live concert venue, built between Fiserv Forum and where this new hotel would go. When that was proposed, the city in these meetings it was having with the Bucks and their affiliates suggested you should advance a second deal for the Bradley Center site. It'll help us justify approving this FPC Live. And I'm summarizing that there, but Bruce Block insinuated, you guys told us to come forward with a hotel. We went and got a hotel deal. You raised no red flags about it being the highest and best use then. And now all of a sudden, 18 months later, you're going, nope, can't build it. And of course, no one is really publicly talking about the real issue, which is this union drive at the Trade Hotel.
And what's the status of the union drive?
There's this National Labor Relations Board investigation that's open.
Okay.
It's very tough to get a comment out of a federal department right now about something that isn't of interest to the Trump administration. So that's become another wrinkle. There's a lot of he said, she said involved. We have a full separate article in Urban Milwaukee breaking down the allegations that MASH, the Milwaukee Area Service and Hospitality Workers Organization, that group leading the unionization drive, has brought forward.
So this is, which is a service union, not the. So this is for who actually works in the hotel, not who is building the hotel.
That's a very important distinction.
Okay.
The construction trade unions are all about, yes, let's build this hotel, and they're promising to build it with union labor. They're not promising to staff it with union labor. And the community benefits agreement for the Deer District, this agreement the Bucks made with MASH years ago, exempts hospitality from guaranteed union representation.
So there's language that exists that basically lays it out if they follow that language.
It exists for the relationship between the Bucks and any other employer in the district. Right. The city, again, is now doing this weird dance, and I caveat the city saying the council, and maybe not even a majority of the council at the moment, the mayor is firmly for this deal. The Bucks are firmly for this deal. They get paid. That's obvious they want this deal. But it's a mess going on at City Hall right now, and we now have a big delay because of it.
He's Jeremy Janine. UrbanMilwaukee.com is where you can find his great work. We're going to take another quick break. We're obviously monitoring the news from Vatican City. Cardinals having elected the next pope, and we'll have an announcement from the Vatican soon on who that person is. Lots of conjecture, lots of betting on that thing, and I can guarantee you right now it won't be Donald Trump, even though he put a picture out that said he had some interest in the job. That's just me talking. Point taken. Steve and Kristin, 620 WTMJ.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella Windows and Doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gina Della to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Milwaukee Weight Loss. Yes, I have lost weight. Yes, I used their plan, their system to lose that weight, up to 1 pound of fat per day. Their doctors developed easy-to-follow weight loss program. Helps you lose weight fast. I've talked to so many people about this. You do it naturally and safely. No drugs, no injections, no risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bar shakes, the gimmick stuff. You don't have to exercise if you don't want to. Their program, and this does work, because I've been on the maintenance phase for more than a month now. And I've lost weight on the maintenance phase. It helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good, feel better. They have coaches. Mine's Emily. They're all outstanding at Milwaukee Weight Loss. Ongoing support when you need it. Their program, get this, costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. You can also call them. How about a phone call? Those are rare nowadays. 262-449-1180. 262-449-1180. You want to lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two? Go online or call. Go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
The Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center is here in New Berlin, and it's ready for you and your team. From little leaguers to hardcore players and trainers, this is the place you'll want to be.
You can't beat Burghardt.
Hey, it's Mother's Day weekend. Your mom's not cooking? Don't even think about that. Treat her to a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure with you. The Friday fish fry is all you care to eat and one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free tonight through Saturday. Indulge in your favorite steak, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, maybe the steak and lobster, even prime rib on Saturday. All buy one, get one free. Desserts and ice cream drinks also buy one, get one free. Celebrate your mother with an old-fashioned, over 20 bourbons, 100 wines, 8 unique dining rooms. The Fox and Hounds, nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest, beautiful spring drive, spectacular views, and your second dinner is always free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine, dinner is served from 4 p.m., so arrive early. Lunch on Saturday, 11 to 2. Call and reserve your free dinner, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Remember your mother. I love this place. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
I'm Brett Matschke, and you're due for service.
Ridgelawns.
Honoring those who dedicate their lives to keeping us safe. WTMJ is highlighting first responders who went above and beyond this past year through Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank. You can nominate your first responder now at WTMJ.com or the WTMJ mobile app. It's already happening. Tomorrow is the last day, May 9th. Finalists are then going to be recognized during Hero Week, May 19th through May 23rd. Help us tell your stories. WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank.
Thank you for that mention. Yes, I got a lot more nominations in, so we got the rest of today and tomorrow, and we've got some good ones, and I'm excited to contact those people. Already scheduling some phone interviews to see who our final 5 are, and we'll do that together next week and the week after as we celebrate Heroes Week. So I'm geeked about it. We got some great picks, and I always look forward. And thanks again to Waterstone Bank, because they're a great partner on this project for many years. All right, Jeremy, Janine, what other interesting development news do you have?
There's no white smoke involved in this announcement, but no, there is action in Milwaukee's Central City. Masterlock, which a company that's quickly making a retreat from Milwaukee, and we'll talk about Oak Creek later. It already last year vacated its historic manufacturing complex, 32nd and Center Street. It's 26-some acres. We now have a buyer for it.
Oh.
We have a St. Louis-based Commercial Development Corporation. The company bills itself as the premier redeveloper of brownfields in the United States. There's no argument that the Masterlock facility is going to be a brownfield. It's a 100-plus-year-old facility. It's been used for manufacturing. There's also a large amount of parking and grass lots that go around it. If you're looking for a fun little Easter egg, look at it on Google Maps. There is the shape of a padlock and a walking trail outside of it.
Really?
There's also if you're driving by, a giant padlock on top of the building. But what's interesting about this is what else Commercial Development Corporation, we'll call it CDC or the other CDC, is doing in Wisconsin. And that is in Janesville. They bought the former GM plant that closed in 2008. I think it's safe to say that's going poorly right now. They demolished, in partnership with the city of Janesville, demolished the entire building. For context, that's 10 times the size of the Masterlock site.
Wow.
260 acres. Milwaukee's also 10 times the size of Janesville. So the importance of that GM site is huge to Janesville. And now Janesville is trying to buy out the other CDC to get them out of the way because they're not seeing any action there. The city of Janesville is also assembling some other smaller sites around it to really create a nicer redevelopment site. But the only proposal, and I'm going from memory here, so not exact language, but they brought forward where the GM site is near downtown Janesville. They brought forward a kind of an intermodal shipping facility, not the kind of use that you would want on a massive site near your downtown, near your waterfront, just not an attractive use, a good outlying use. And that's all that CDC has at least publicly brought forward to the city of Janesville. So the city of Janesville trying to buy out CDC at the same time CDC is buying into Milwaukee.
Is there concern as far as they not having an exact proposal for what they think the space could be used for in Milwaukee?
They have, and I'll read the quote from it. Our acquisition of this retired manufacturing plant is the first step to restoring the property to productive use. Our team is well equipped to reposition this site for its next stage of life, likely to be industrial operations. Industrial means this really broad category of stuff. At 32nd and Center, are we likely to get a big shipping facility? The city's probably not going to be very hot on that. It's also logistically just not a great spot to put one. Do you want a big warehousing facility in the middle of the city? Probably not, because that's not a lot of jobs. You'd want something that brings jobs there, and without a clear plan, we could be waiting a long time.
Serious question. Does Milwaukee sometimes get too picky? I mean, you have these properties that are sitting there vacant. They become eyesores. They become dangerous in many ways. And then you want to pick and choose. Well, that's not how development works sometimes. Sometimes the developer tells you what they want to do with their property.
And we saw that play out at the Komatsu South Harbor campus site, where the city developed all these standards for the Harbor District. And it was some like 18 jobs per acre or something we want. And the ultimate plan that came forward didn't meet that. And then the city flexed and said, yes, we'll take, these are a lot of jobs coming. We'll take it, even though it doesn't exactly meet our standards. I think in other spots, you could argue that some of the city's restrictions have been impediments. But in places like the Menominee Valley, where the city has put in those restrictions, it's really worked out well. So I think it's a matter of designing those requirements right up front.
What was the Oak Creek piece you were talking about? I know they're vacating the Howell Avenue facility.
So that's going to be another property that's up for sale. The Masterlock had a historic Milwaukee company that sold itself off in the 1970s, now owned by this Illinois company, does most of its manufacturing outside of the country. I think actually all of it now. It is in the former, and I'll defer to you, Steve, on your history.
Midwest Airlines, BE. Then it became, what was the new name? Caterpillar, right? Or whatever it was. And then Masterlock, I believe. There might have been someone between those, but not a big company.
So they're generally near the airport in Oak Creek. There's this office complex that they're now moving all those jobs to Deerfield, Illinois, which is where Fortune Brands, their parent, are. So that is yet another legacy of Masterlock and Midwest Airlines.
Because where did they move their Because basically when they left the Milwaukee location, it was because of over union jobs, right? And or does that not?
I don't
correct?
even know that union is a factor. They just went to it mostly went to Mexico and to China.
Got it.
All right, we are waiting a emergence from the Vatican balcony on the new Pope. Lots of questions on who that might be. We saw the white smoke, I don't know, about 20 minutes ago now. And, of course, we will carry the latest on all of that from ABC. Our own Julia Fellow will also provide some updates if she has them. Lots of excitement in Vatican City, which this is a big deal worldwide. I mean, there's we can see every network that we have on here. And probably hundreds
literally
of
every
thousands.
Chiron is any moment,
Yeah.
awaiting announcement of next Pope, new Pope, first appearance coming soon.
And a marching band.
Is this the Vatican's marching band? What are we watching on the ABC affiliate? They're all dressed up, so something's going to happen momentarily. So we're going to have all of that. We're going to have a quick ABC update, which will probably tell you what I just told you. We have, of course, Julia Fellow. And if we don't have breaking news to carry live, Jerry Magini will have a lot more to talk about with us. But this might be the last time we hear your voice, depending on what happens.
Depending on what happens.
So he's always here every Thursday at 11:15, and we appreciate that. His great work, by the way. I don't say this lightly. You do great reporting on Milwaukee stories, politics, development, all the pieces of the puzzle. UrbanMilwaukee.com. And other than pointing people in the right direction, give me the quick, we don't have time. ABC News update.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Michelle Franzen. Jubilation ringing out in St. Peter's Square after white puffs of smoke poured from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel, signaling the College of Cardinals elected a new pope. ABC's Patrick Reevell is there.
Definitely white smoke. You can hear the bells now ringing of St. Peter's Basilica. That means that there is a new pope. The world has a new pope. The 133 cardinals inside the conclave have now managed to reach that two-thirds majority.
Among those waiting in St. Peter's Square today, George, an American who was hoping to see white smoke, he says, and history.
The most consequential man in the world is about to be revealed to us. And yeah, and it's as important as it is. And so, of course, it's a very charged, emotional thing to experience, to be here for, and I'm blessed to be able to be here.
The world now waiting for that moment, though, when the one cardinal elevated to Pope will reveal himself on the balcony to the public. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Julia Fellow. It's for real, the white smoke and bells of the Vatican, as you just heard. And Marquette University Professor Emeritus Father Stephen Avila talked about what might be going through the mind of the next leader of the Roman Catholic Church right now as we wait.
I would imagine you're almost in something of a daze when this happens, and then you go in and you come out and receive the obedience of the cardinals, and then you're presented to the world, and they'll go crazy there in St. Peter's Square. They'll go crazy. The biggest bell is Andrew, and you could hear that all over Rome.
Stay with WTMJ. We will break in as soon as the newly elected Pope makes his first appearance at the Vatican balcony. We're told it could happen within the next half hour. A big shakeup hits Milwaukee closer to home. Milwaukee Public Schools Central Office. New Superintendent Dr. Brenda Caselius reassigning 40 central office staffers to classrooms. 181 staff positions have been eliminated by the superintendent. In a letter, she wrote that 40 staff members will be offered classroom teaching jobs, while 140 can reapply for their positions. Employees who stay with the district will be guaranteed to keep their current salaries and their jobs for at least a year. MPS expects to have about 80 vacant teaching positions by the start of next year. Time for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything in the green after we learned from the Trump administration in the UK that they're making a new trade deal together. The Dow is up almost 1.5%, up 572. S&P 500 up more than 1%, up 74. NASDAQ is up 1.75%, up 307. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads through WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. It is really breezy out there. There are word of debris on the road, construction barrels that are blowing all over the place, like on Highway 175 north at Blue Mound Road. Expect lane closures because of that debris. Please be careful. 4194 north and 4143 894 west. The right shoulder is blocked because of disabled vehicle. There was also debris on the road, so please be careful. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, clear and chilly, frost possible inland. The low tonight will be 30 at the lake, 33 inland. Tomorrow, sunny skies, 60 at the lake, 68 inland will be your high. Saturday, isolated showers are possible throughout the day, 67 at the lake, 73 inland. For your Mother's Day, it'll be great, sunny and mild, 67 at the lake, 76 inland. Monday, mostly sunny, 73 at the lake, 78 inland. Right now in Madison, it's 54 degrees. In Green Bay, it's 52 degrees. And in Milwaukee, really sunny, clear skies at 47 degrees. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:34.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit loyalfamilyrenovations.com.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Oh, yeah.
Still waiting.
We're on Pope Watch still because there's a lot of marching going on. A lot of the crowd is like out of their minds, happy because we saw the white smoke. About 25 minutes ago now, we are waiting for the emergence of said new Pope on the Vatican balcony, which is a tradition going back many, many years. Lots of speculation, including betting, as we were talking about last week about who this... Yeah. There's a rapidly growing segment of the Catholic community from the Philippines that there's some interest that maybe that's where the new Pope goes. I have no idea because I don't know how this stuff works other than the movie renditions, which could be completely, off from reality. So as soon as that happens, as soon as we hear those announcements, we will take you live to Vatican City on the balcony as we await the news of the new Pope.
But till then,
yes,
we got some more Milwaukee news to talk about, including a new playground, right?
Yes, we'll talk about Stella's Playground, which was an idea that was unveiled yesterday. The backstory is Stella Schneider was diagnosed with a cancerous brain tumor in 2023. Yesterday, she celebrated her 9th birthday at Kilbourne Reservoir Park, which is that beautiful bluff overlooking downtown Milwaukee from the north. It's at the southern end of River West.
What looks over like lakefront?
Yes. Looks over Lakefront Brewery, looks over the Milwaukee River. You get a great skyline view. There's a playground there. It's from 2006. It's your standard off-the-shelf playground. For someone like Stella, who's recovering from her brain surgery or her brain tumor removal, it's not accommodating to anyone. Mm-hmm. Stella can walk again, which is great. She proved yesterday she's gotten over her swallowing issues. She's eating, which is great to see, but she still doesn't have the mobility of a normal 9-year-old. And so her parents, Reese Schneider and Robert Schneider, who are both prominent Milwaukeeans and River Westers like Kristin, they want to do something for their daughter. And their daughter broke down when she couldn't join her brother at the playground. And they said, we're going to build you a playground. And then they realized the ramifications of building an inclusive playground. So a $2 million fundraising effort is launched to build what will be in Milwaukee, the first in the city of Milwaukee, the first inclusive playground, which means if you're in a wheelchair, you can get up there. If you have other mobility issues, you can get up there. But also, it's still fun for kids of all ages and abilities. And that's really the challenge.
Well, and this is interesting because I've interviewed Damian Buckman before, and I know he's good friends, grew up with Greg Matzek. And so he has been on this fundraising campaign, I think for TOSA, though, as far as the inclusive park, not even just playground, that he's trying to fundraise to build in Wauwatosa, right?
Correct. So there is, the Schneiders are looking at Kayla's Playground, which is in Franklin, as kind of a model of what could be built. It was built a couple of years before the pandemic. Damian Buckman, who is, the Schneiders were quick to credit as being like a great inspiration and a friend on this. With Milwaukee County Parks, they're turning Wisconsin Avenue Park, which is in Wauwatosa, into Moss Universal Park. So the nuance is it is in the city of Milwaukee. Will be the first one closest to downtown, but there are others in the suburbs.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break because we are pretty close to an emergence of our new pope from the balcony area of the Vatican. We'll carry that, of course, live right here on 620 WTMJ.
Lake Geneva is the Midwest's premier golf destination, featuring breathtaking views, crystal clear lakes, and rolling fairways. Treat yourself to an all-inclusive golf getaway with courses designed for all skill levels, luxurious lodging, distinctive dining, and a relaxing spa. Plan a Lake Geneva group golf outing, a corporate event, or a weekend getaway with friends or family. Their pros will help you plan a memorable golf experience. For info on courses and more, visit lakegeneva.com today. Lake Geneva, it's always been the place for legendary golf.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Maybe you don't need a new garage door. You just need to keep the door you love looking good and functioning well. Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company, where they're always available to service your existing door. In the meantime, some tips from Rick Burr at Lifetime. Do not use a pressure washer on that door. It can damage the finish and paint. Do not remove parts for cleaning. Leave that to the experts. Do use a silicone-based lubricant 4 times a year. And if you need a can, stop by the showroom at 124th and Burleigh. Tell them Vinny sent you, and they'll give you one for free. LifetimeDoor.net.
A lot of law firms claim to be experts at handling injury cases that involve large trucks. But handling one trucking case does not make you an expert on the subject. Experience matters in these cases. One local firm has handled 25 trucking cases which resulted in payments over $1 million each, and hundreds of others as well. Because Wisconsinites know who to call when it's a must-win scenario. They call Habish, and Rotier. National reputation, hometown service.
Hey, it's Mother's Day weekend. Where would you be without your mom? WTMJ's John Mercure here. Get your mother out of the kitchen and into the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford, the area's most affordable Mother's Day dining destination. The Mother's Day brunch is all you can eat. It's a feast, and it's under $25, far less than what you'll pay elsewhere. Kids and grandkids under 3, they eat for free. And they can safely play in the world-class game room quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up. The Mine Shaft is super family-friendly. The Wednesday and Friday fish fry is all you can eat, just $7.99. That's right, $7.99. Mom's going to love that. Your mother's Saturday steak or prime rib dinner is under $25. Restaurant inflation is everywhere, but not at the Mine Shaft in downtown Hartford and Oshkosh. The Wednesday and Friday all-you-can-eat fish fry is $7.99. Call and reserve your Mother's Day table, MineshaftRestaurant.com. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the amazing Mine Shaft. Check out the Mine Shaft today.
It's Blaine's Farm and Fleet's 70th anniversary, so we're celebrating with over $25,000 in gift cards and prizes. Live project demos for the whole family, plus 2 days of exclusive deals throughout the store. Celebrate 70 years of value this Friday and Saturday at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
We are on announcement of the Pope, new Pope. He's going to come out on the Vatican balcony at some point, and we will go live to Vatican City.
When that happens.
Kristin and Steve on this Thursday edition. Jeremy Janine is from UrbanMilwaukee.com sitting in. I'm curious about some of the things that you always send us, and one of the ones is this growing Milwaukee plan that I'm not even sure what it is anymore. And now they're dropping the name. It changes. It's being adapted constantly. So what are we talking about here?
We're talking about zoning because that's apparently the topic du jour of the day, along with papal changes. But the The Mayor Cavalier Johnson got elected, and on the campaign trail, he unveiled this vision: I want 1 million Milwaukeeans. Well, how do you
ambitious?
Ambitious, yes. But if you got to 800,000, no one's going to go failure.
Totally.
Yeah. There's, for reference for our outstate listeners, there's about 600,000 right now, and it's been slowly declining since the 1970s. So this vision from the Department of City Development was, okay, here's a series of zoning changes we can make. And those weren't driven just by the mayor's proclamation of 1 million people, but by what's happening nationally. When you look at like really hot real estate markets, Seattle, Minneapolis, they're looking at ways to like make subtle density increases, which can hopefully fight off gentrification, but also create possibly new affordable housing. So we're talking about things like granny flats, carriage units, those little back houses that are really common in Milwaukee's oldest neighborhoods.
I feel like here they're called Polish flats. That's that's the name I heard for them.
Yeah, so Polish flat is a very similar type. It's what is legally called an ADU, accessory dwelling unit, but a Polish flat's where you lift up the house and put basically a basement underneath where someone could live. And it was literally a way 120 years ago to create affordable housing. Well, in the 1920s, cities across the country, including Milwaukee, adopted zoning codes, made those things illegal for all kinds of different reasons. The city is now looking at dial turns to like, okay, let's re-legalize some of these things and see if they can, like in our hottest neighborhoods, create a new supply of housing where people want to live and maybe create affordable housing. You think about people wanting to age in place, like let's create some space that they can live in with dignity, but it's their own space, but it's affordable space. So this grand plan, Growing MKE, was released, and it was released almost, I think, a year ago now. Little pieces of it kind of trickled out in advance. And it got a really bad reception with certain groups. And I will go on my soapbox here a little bit. Subjectively, they seem to willfully misunderstand it. So the city goes, the city being Department of City Development, okay, we'll listen to your feedback. We'll reevaluate what we're doing here. And the groups were largely concerned that this plan would be a tool to increase gentrification in some of the city's poorest neighborhoods, when it seems like, according to real estate analysts, it's really going to create more housing in the city's hottest neighborhoods, the Bayviews, the East Sides. The city comes back with a new plan now, but they've also even renamed it to try and ward off criticism. So Growing MKE becomes Milwaukee's Comprehensive Plan Housing Element, because it's updating the city's comprehensive plan, and it loses the easy way to talk about it. But the thought is, okay, our 70-page plan now will be able to maybe more protect ourselves. They have a 70-page plan. They have a 49-page harm and benefit analysis now to go with it, which it's just a lot. And it's doing the work to try and refute, okay, you say this is going to happen. Here's what we think. Here's like the benefits we think.
Like we've thought through this.
Yeah. And if you had a specific criticism, it now gives you a document you can read. But along the way in 2024, they already did a little bit of watering down. There's now some more watering down. They like looking at, okay, everywhere citywide, you should be able to build it up to a 4-unit building. Well, that's stripped out. You can't build a duplex everywhere citywide anymore. So all these ways that it was going to allow the supply of housing to increase, it just keeps getting chipped away. And so this new plan came out last week. It's on Urban Milwaukee. I'll give you the article title. City revises its Growing MKE plan, including changing the name. As I stare at the television screen, it does not include anything about the new pope, but it is there to read in all its glory. The Common Council will now review it. There's been a lot of skepticism on the Common Council, but there's also been a move now for the Common Council to take specific elements of the plan that they liked and just break them off and do them on their own. So the carriage units, the Polish flats, that kind of thing, they're doing that on its own. They're also legalizing up to 8-unit apartment buildings, but not designating exactly where they could go, just creating the zoning designation that they could maybe use in the future. So it's a lot of moving pieces to try and increase the housing supply, but the amount of housing it could create continues to get dialed down.
And is this totally separate from the workforce housing conversation we had last week?
They end up relating, but yes, it's largely separate because those are much bigger buildings. This is looking at kind of gentle density changes.
Okay.
Jeremy and Janine, we're going to send you on your way because we've got some Pope news that hopefully we'll be covering live in a moment as the new Pope emerges on the Vatican balcony. Jeremy and Janine, UrbanMilwaukee.com. Always appreciate you. We'll talk to you again next week. She's Kristin, I'm Steve. One more segment of our program before Greg Matzik and guest co-host, whoever that is today. I don't even know who it is. Every day it's different on that day.
Mike Spalding.
Mike Spalding.
Get on the mic.
I should have been nicer. He's my boss. All right, quick break here on 620 WTMJ.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on May 20th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Baltimore Orioles.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Construction Business Group. Tune in May 20th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Badger Fence. I have a beautiful cedar fence installed about 5 years ago. Company I trusted, Badger Fence. They've been installing high-quality, durable fences, get this, since 1945. Proud member of the Better Business Bureau, A-plus rating, as well as a member of the National Association of the Remodeling Industry. It's about all this, privacy, security. Why trust the fence styles? They are the fence company we chose for our property, Badger Fence. Licensed, bonded, insured, best materials, 76 years of experience, that matters, trust me. So whether you want wood, which is what we chose, or ornamental, chain link, even PVC now, they can help you choose the right materials for your fence project when it comes to quality, unmatched, and this is a big and, at the most competitive prices. We love our new wood fence. We sit in our yard and stare at it almost every afternoon. And when Kath and I were looking for our fence, we found the right match with Badger Fence. Set up an appointment to talk with Badger Fence about your fence project. Go to badgerfence.com. Tell them Scaffidi from WTMJ sent you.
You can search for the biggest bat selection, but I'm here to save you time because the best baseball and softball bat selection in the Midwest is right here at Burkhardt Sporting Goods. We stock just about every bat on the market from all the top manufacturers like Easton, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, Marucci, and more, and sell them all at the guaranteed lowest prices. So get in here and try a few out in our indoor batting cages. There's no need to look any further because when it comes to bats, if you want it, we got it at Burkhardt Sporting Goods.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
When you run a team, you want great uniforms, and you know selling spiritware is vital. That's why Burkhardt Sporting Goods will create a free custom website for you to sell your families and players the coolest spiritwear from Nike and Under Armour, as well as the basics, while helping you fundraise at the same time. We take the hassle out of coordinating your team's apparel and make shopping and buying easy. So when you need awesome spiritwear and uniforms for your organization, you can't beat Burkhardt.
You can't beat Burkhardt.
Summer's getting closer, and Brewers action at American Family Field is only heating up. Don't miss a Midwestern throwdown between the Brewers and the Twins, May 16th through the 18th. Get a Jedi Jackson Churio Star Wars Night bauble with a special theme night ticket on the 16th. Then get here early for an exclusive Brewers cribbage board giveaway for the first 25,000 fans on the 17th. Presented by 620 WTMJ. Get tickets at brewers.com.
Acumen Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Still no Pope.
Still no Pope, but we will cover that live.
The anticipation.
Yeah.
Woo.
You know, you're in good hands after us because you've got Mike Spalding, longtime news guy who's good at that job, trust me, and they'll be all over this story. Greg Matzik, also very good, and they will cover this story in every possible detail as it happens. We could have, over the last half hour, I was just talking to Kristin about it, we could have told you that there's a empty balcony, but not that exciting. You know, it's obviously a big story, but it's an empty balcony right now.
Yeah, it's less fun for us just to explain what we're saying on a TV than to hear from Jeremy.
I will tell you that the pomp and circumstance part, there's a lot going on.
It's a lot of different uniforms.
Yeah,
I've noticed there's been multiple different
like
marching bands that have been in different uniforms. There's these gentlemen right here who kind of, I don't know. It's times like this where you realize there's a lot of things that you don't know. I don't know a lot about the different procedural or ceremonial aspects.
The one group of guards, those are the guards that protect the Pope and the Vatican. So I think they're front and center. But I mean, this is where you need a papal expert. That's why every network that we're looking at, and we've got four of them up, has a papal expert. They brought their hosts over. I saw some of the CNN hosts that are typically doing night times on CNN. They're over there. So one thing about anchors, they love to travel for these kinds of stories because it's like a free vacation, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, why not?
Would you not? Why would you not? If the opportunity is, let me be in our sterile studio where I'm every day doing the same, not the same newscast, but doing the same thing versus the opportunity. I love doing remotes. If there's an opportunity for us to do more remotes versus being in the studio, no offense to anyone who would find that offensive.
Also, studio not sterile, but I know what you're saying.
Oh, the studio is not sterile? Yeah. Just waiting for those fruit flies to come back.
Actually, Greg's not here today because he's golfing his 100-hole charity event.
So we have 2 guest hosts?
I know. Someone will fill us in. Who is the other? Do we know who the other guest? Let's not short shrift. She's as good as it gets as well. She's been here many times before as a fill-in host, and she's good. She is good. I'll be interested to hear their take on all of the breaking news when it comes to the new pope.
Absolutely. All right, coming in tomorrow, our hot
Bill and Joe.
Bill and Joe are going to be here.
Yeah.
Bill will be on the phone, which is never as fun. But what are we? What's on your top of your mind? You're making a list of things to talk to Bill about, right?
I don't know if we're going to lead with that, but I'm going to get to this at some point. The absurdities coming out of this administration. I want Bill as a strong MAGA supporter. Make sense of it for me. What is, other than owning the libs, what is the strategy to all of these things? Speaking of the Pope, the president submitting a picture or posting it of himself as Pope. What's the point of these things other than just outrage people and make people, go crazy?
Be in the center of attention?
I guess.
Keep us talking about them?
Yes. There's other serious stuff. I do want to talk to both Bill and Joe about the legislature and their decisions on budget, because that's something that's going to impact
We'll probably have
all
more
of us.
information tomorrow.
We will, because obviously the JFC, Joint Finance Committee meeting, maybe as we speak.
I think it was slated
1 o'clock?
for 1 p.m.
Okay, so that's going to happen this afternoon in Madison. So lots of breaking news. I know this. On our station, 620 WTMJ, we're going to cover the emergence of the new pope whenever that happens in detail, and probably some other fun stuff as well, because there's also
I'm trying
other
to think of what this reminds me of just having all these stations and the cameras just locked in on the balcony as we wait with so much tension of who's going to emerge. I'm trying to think of what, like, either a movie or other...
you know what a Green Bay example of that is? The draft. Because that's what they did.
I guess it kind of reminds me of the opening scene of The Lion King when they're about to show Simba, and then everyone in the pride gets very excited. Not everyone, all the animals in the pride get.
Interesting analogy.
That was like, it kind of gives me that as far as everyone's waiting and waiting to have the first look.
And what's your pick on, if you have one, on what region of the world this pope may come from?
Well, I'll say this right now. I had Polymarket pulled up, and I'm going to Pietro Parolin. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
He's at 68% as far as.
And where is he from?
The front runner. He is Italian?
Well,
I don't know.
Of course, I would be all in on that choice.
I don't know.
We haven't had
at 21% on Polymarket is the Filipino Tagal.
That's a popular choice as well.
So yeah.
How about a pope from the African continent? That
I don't think any of them are at least here
as a very strong region of Catholicism. So it's seconds away. We are obviously seconds away from wrapping up. Toya Washington, Mike Spalding. What a team coming up on the midday show here on 620 WTMJ. We'll be back tomorrow, Kristin and Steve. This show is point taken. I hope you got the points. We'll take it in a different direction tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
Get the help you